Professor Petrocelli. Yes, you're a hypnotist. Retiring? Yes. Here we are, it's midnight, Friday night, just a few blocks away from Times Square, New York City. These are my last day. For those of you who still have some work to do, or to fine-tune the work we started, now's the time to call. It's your last chance. Yes, as they say, it's been a long road. From my early days when I first started in the forefront of the change work revolution, meeting all those early gurus as they wafted in from their acid trips, to the start of what would be called the human potential movement. That was 37 years ago. Who knew back then, when a psychic ex-girlfriend named Barbara, when all this stuff was so strange, she introduced me to a 4-day mind training class called the Silva Method. Who knew how this would change my life and revolutionize the lives of millions? So much so that I would dedicate the next 3 years of my life under the tutelage of their top instructor, Paul Grievous, and later Jose Silva, the man himself. The Silva Method was an alternative to exploring the inner realms of one's mind. You no longer had to drop acid to take that trip. Meditation, human awareness training. Training was going toward meditative relaxation techniques. Shortly after the Silva Method's introduction in 1966, now, who would have envisioned this New York City street kid who grew up in an old-world New York City neighborhood consisting of thugs, crooked politicians, dirty cops, where violence was all around me, and lives were often cut short, that I would eventually take a different path. And it was out of necessity, for my friends who chose that easier path never made it past their teens. Over the years, I explored every aspect of the human potential movement, from meditation to confrontation, to being enclosed in a soundproof isolation tank, to curling up like a pretzel and meditating on a mountaintop in Tibet. It didn't take long to realize why these revolutionary trainings did not radically change the world. The truth is, human beings are inherently lazy. As a species, we know what to do, we just don't do it. Now, that was great news for the budding pharmaceutical industries. They could capitalize on that. They came out with a pill for everything, even a pill for sex. Now, I knew if there was a God or higher intelligence up there, there had to be a better way. I explored the work of those who manifested the powerful change in others, where they ventured where everyone else had previously failed. The great hypnotherapist, Gil Boyne, Stephen Parkhill, Mark Cunningham, Dave Elm, Milton Erickson. I spent 12 to 15-hour days, 6-7 days a week, working one-on-one, implementing every technique I could throw at people, formulating a recipe of change that could totally rescript a person's subconscious, creating that ideal mental picture which they already had in their head all along, which was blindsided by thoughts of defeat. Now, this method worked, because you wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for this work. Now, I went through a pared-down version of this myself because it wasn't fully developed yet. I was caught in the debris shower. I was walking to work that morning. I was a half a block away. A very eventful morning of 9/11. A day that affected not only the world's consciousness, but devastated me. I went from who I was to nothing more than a shell of my former self. But going through a very simplistic version of regression, progression, hypnosis, I turned into a person I couldn't have even comprehended was possible at the time. Well, that changed myself. It motivated me towards superhuman efforts. I spent time in small rooms, one-on-one with people for whom everyone had given up on, 12 to 15 hours a day, rescripting their sometimes traumatic incidents of the past, while giving others hope, belief, a reason to shine, to live. Now, I developed a very humanistic, gestalt-like mind-body approach. And if you're listening to this now, you went through the process, and you know how it changed your life. Now, no one was more amazed by what we achieved together than I, because my only special gift was I'd been raised by a grandmother who never gave up on people. If there was a way, and you persisted, you could find, don't give it up. And I've seen miracles, and you might just be one of them. From limitations and addictions fading away to a 180-degree turnaround in your life. From the frail transforming into powerhouses of confidence. I've seen those I've worked with go out and change the world, and I'm proud to have been a part of your life. And while it's a new world now, those who've entered the change work industry have learned from the medical industry. It's not profitable to get results, especially like the ones we've already gotten together. And those long, overdrawn, 1 to 3 life-changing sessions that lasted from 3 to 7 hours. So for me, it's finally time to close up shop. Now, I had some help with that decision. New York City rents have skyrocketed, just like every other industry. But there's also that component we can't replace. I'm willing to give it, but the world revolves on cash. That component is time. I invest that time in you. Meanwhile, the industry has now opened its doors to those who care more about your financial status than your mental health, especially in New York City, especially in this industry. This message is to let my previous clients know that by November 2016 at the latest, unless some of you wanted what you've done in session was worth giving to other people and sharing with other people, I may extend it in that case to May of 2017, but I also may leave in 2 weeks from now, so get in here. Now, a couple of programs I put together providing mental relief and training to returning veterans, well, it's been neglected. Well, that's still on the table. Funding has stopped because it was coming all out of my pocket. Now, if you appreciate what these proud men and women have sacrificed for you, I urge you to keep that program afloat by making a donation below. Not only does it help them return to a life of normalcy, but we also teach them a job skill. And who better to go out and teach other veterans than another veteran who's gone through the exact same. Now, if you're still out there and you have to tweak that powerful change you've experienced, or you want to explore new realms, pick up the phone now. Call immediately. Because once my doors are closed, I'm not going to be that easy to track down. So pick up the phone. I extend a large and heartwarming thanks to everyone who's influenced me, my mentors, my clients, my friends, and my grandmother for instilling these values in me in the first place. It's been a roller coaster of a ride. My only regret is, I haven't found someone to do the exact same work I've done with you on myself. And in those closed rooms, 6 to 7 days a week, and restructuring entire lifetimes. Well, it's taken a toll on me. Now, for those of you who haven't spoken to me, why don't you pick up the phone or drop me an email? Show a little bit of that appreciation. I'm glad we are each a part of one's life. Many of you have influenced me as much as I have influenced you. Now, for those of you who believe in past life, maybe I'll see you in the next go-around. It's been great. Or, as they say, it's been real.